Biggest risks are burns, falling, choking, SIDs. For older babies, shaken baby syndrome, drowning, and vehicle occupant injuries are also a risk. Children under 3 months mostly eat, sleep, and cry. Since they don't do much, they could accidentally roll over and fall off the couch. They also need support of the head. Without it, the head will roll back and snap.
What about children a little bit older?
Children from 4 to 6 months tend to reach for unknown objects to put them in their mouth. This could lead to burning or some kind of poison, or choking. 7 to 12 months tend to put things that could fall on them and eat solid foods. Never leave children a phone in case they choke.
What about children over 1? Are they more or less safe?
Well, no, see, now is the time where they start to run and walk. They always need parental supervision at this age in case they run into the street or fall while running. Now they can open drawers and you don't want them to go and throw objects. It's easier to get age 3 and they start making choices for themselves. Soon they get stronger and start to explore the neighborhood.
What are the best ways to keep infants from getting injured?
Never let them out of your sight and keep small toys and objects away from them. Only sleep on their back and don't let them sleep on soft bedding in case they suffocate. Never shake them and always keep them away from water unless they're constantly supervised. It's also important to make sure that babies have appropriate car seats.
Alright, you mentioned something about SIDS earlier. What's that?
SIDS is sudden infant death syndrome. This is when infants die in the middle of the night without any explanation. To try to help this, we use baby monitors.
Alright, we've talked about the risks for children up to the age of 1. How about risks for older children? 1 and 2 years old?
Well, there's still a lot of risks for 1 and 2 year olds. The risk of getting burned, falling, choking, drowning, poisoning, and vehicle injuries.
And how can you prevent these injuries?
Well, to prevent them, you put gates on stairs and show your child how to climb up and down them. Make sure you clean the floor with anything reaching area of items and the small baby could choke on. And do not give the baby food that they could easily choke on. To prevent poisoning, make sure you keep the child away from any toxic chemicals by keeping cleaners, cosmetics, medicines, and chemicals in places out of reach. Never leave your child near any sort of water unsupervised. This could lead to drowning. Also make sure the baby is strapped in safely before you start a vehicle.
What about 3, 4, and 5-year-olds and up?
Well, 3, 4, and 5-year-olds have some of the same risks injuries. You may need things to watch out for: still burns and poisoning, but also injuries caused by traffic, tools, guns, and rough play.
How can we prevent these?
You store guns and sharp tools out of the child's sight and reach. You should also use the car seat at all times and watch out for other children that play rough.
Well, how can you help your children if they do get injured? What about first aid?
Well, there are a lot of injuries to cover first aid. For cuts, scrapes, you should press on the cut until it stops bleeding. Then run and clean it with lukewarm water. If it doesn't stop bleeding, call the police immediately. Cover up the wound with a bandage until it heals to keep your child from picking at it. And if it appears to become infected, visit your doctor immediately. For burns, run it under cold water or put ice on it immediately. If the burns cover a large area, are very badly burnt, or appear to be infected, visit a pediatrician immediately. For nosebleeds, have the child sit up and don't tilt their head back. Pinch the lower end of their nose for 5 to 10 minutes until it stops. If your child is choking quickly, perform the Heimlich maneuver. But if the child is below the age of 1, thump the infant gently but firmly in the middle of the back 5 times with the heel of your hand. This should get whatever they're choking out.
Well, thank you for talking with us about this. Where did you get all this information anyways?
Well, I have had a lot of times on my hands lately. I got this information from childcarehealth.org, parents.com, and mayoclinic.org.
Well, Oprah, it was a delight having you on our show today, but sadly we have to say goodbye. Stay tuned. Next we have the singer-songwriter Taylor Swift with her new hit single, Blank Space.